You may have back pain, or you might just be interested in how to prevent it. In today's video, I'm going to talk about all of the things that are likely to increase your chance of getting back pain so that you can either A, reduce your chance of getting back pain, or B, improve the symptoms you've already got. And make sure you stay tuned until the end, where I'm going to talk about a few myths associated with one risk factor in particular. Hello, it's Luke here from Genuine Physio, where we bring you honest, evidence-based information and education to get you guys back on the road to recovery. If you like what you see, a thumbs up is always appreciated, and if you're new around here, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of our videos. As always, there should be some useful information in the description below on today's topic if you'd like to look at things in a bit more detail. You can find us on all of the main social media platforms, and with all that out of the way, let's get going. With back pain being so common, it's really important that you know there's a few things you can do about it. In today's video, we're going to discuss the top 7 risk factors associated with back pain, and in actual fact, many other conditions as well. But please note, these are just general factors, and even an elite athlete can develop back pain. A risk factor is a particular characteristic or behaviour that increases your chances of getting a particular disease or injury. So with that in mind, let's get straight on to number 1. The first 2 factors, unfortunately, are going to be things that you can't do much about. But stay with me, because thereafter it all gets a little bit more positive. Now, factor number 1, it's that elephant in the room, it's your age. Now, it's going to happen to us all, but there's no doubt as you get a little bit older, you do start to get a few more aches and pains. And with that in mind, your likelihood of getting some back pain as you get older does increase slightly. In actual fact, at the age of 30, a process called sarcopenia starts. Now that's just a fancy way of saying as you get a little bit older, your muscles get a little bit weaker. In actual fact, by 3 to 5% per decade. The good news is you can do something about it. So why not include a little bit of resistance training into your weekly routine to try and maintain healthy, strong muscles? Remember, if you don't use it, you lose it. The second factor is your genetics. Now, in all honesty, we don't really know how your genetics affects your ability to get low back pain. There was a big meta-analysis completed in 2018 that did suggest 3 novel genetic variants that could be associated with persistent back pain, but at the moment, ultimately, there isn't enough information to make a link, and more research is needed in the area. The third factor is obesity. Now, we know that obesity is one of the leading preventable causes of death in the UK and the US. And obesity also increases your risk of getting back pain. In the UK, it's estimated that 63% of people are either overweight or obese, and in the US, over 100 million people are considered overweight. It costs us all globally over $2 trillion each year to treat obesity-related conditions, and these figures continue to rise in both adults and children. Being overweight increases your risk of getting back pain through a couple of different mechanisms. More obviously, it puts more stress on your muscles, joints and tendons, but secondly, adipose tissue or fatty tissue is responsible for releasing inflammatory molecules in the body, which means if you are overweight, you've got more inflammation moving throughout your system. If you want to find out if you are overweight, then you can do this easily with a measurement called your body mass index, or your BMI for short. And what this does is takes into account your age, your height, your weight, and your current physical activity levels, and then produces a score for you. This score, if normal, should be between 18.5 and 24.9. Conveniently, you can find BMI calculators online that will do this for you, and I'll pop a link to the NHS calculator in the description below. Risk factor number 4 is being sedentary, which is obviously intrinsically linked with the one we just spoke about. Stats time. Less than 5% of people in the US do more than 30 minutes of physical activity each day, and in 2017 in the UK it was estimated that only 66% of men and 58% of women met the physical activity guidelines. But do you know what they are?
Well, here is your answer. This infograph from the UK government website tells us exactly how much physical activity we're all supposed to be doing each week in order to stay fit and healthy. At least 150 minutes of moderate intensity exercise or 75 minutes of vigorous intensity exercise, ideally including 2 strength days and 2 balance days. If you'd like a closer look at the infograph, I'll pop a link in the description below.
Do make sure when you're completing your physical activity that you do get to that moderate stage. If you want to maintain your fitness, or better still improve your fitness, then you need to stress your system in order to stimulate any change. So make sure that by the time you get to the end of the activity, you're feeling a bit puffed out and your muscles are feeling a little bit achy. Risk factor 5 is smoking, and similar to obesity, it is one of the leading common causes of preventable death in the UK. And we associate smoking with lung and heart conditions because the smoke increases your heart rate and it clogs the lining of your arteries, making a blood clot more likely. However, it also has a negative impact on your stomach, your brain, your skin, your mouth, your throat, your muscles and your bones, hence the increased likelihood of back pain. I'm aware I'm probably teaching you to suck eggs slightly, as we all know that smoking isn't great for us. But whilst we're on the subject, I thought we'd spend a little bit of time just trying to bust some myths around smoking.
Myth number 1 is the damage is already done. It's a common misconception that if you smoked in the past, you've already done the damage. We know that if you stop quite quickly, you'll notice improvements in your breathing, your sense of smell and your sense of taste, and after a year, you would have reduced your chance of getting cardiovascular and respiratory disease. Myth 2 is rolled tobacco is healthier than cigarettes. In actual fact, rolled tobacco contains over 4,000 toxic chemicals, some of which are poisonous and carcinogenic. In addition, some people smoke roll-ups without a filter, which means they actually inhale more tar and nicotine. Myth number 3 is I'll put on weight, and it's understandable to have worries about this because nicotine does help to suppress appetite. If you substitute smoking for unhealthy snacks, then there is a chance that you will put on weight. However, if you maintain a healthy, balanced diet and have healthy snacks throughout the day, then your weight is unlikely to be affected. Myth 4 is a popular one, but the research actually tells us that non-smokers have lower levels of stress than smokers. And last but not least, passive smoking is a very real danger, which is why it's been banned in all public places across the UK. Passive smoking will increase your risk of lung cancer or stroke by 20 to 30% and increase your risk of coronary heart disease by 25 to 30%.
If you are interested in stopping smoking or you just like a little bit more information on it, then please take a look in the description below where I've put a few useful links for you. Risk factor 6 is mental health. We know that your minds and your bodies are intrinsically linked with each other, which means that your thoughts, your feelings and emotions have a significant impact on the amount of pain that you feel. And low back pain as a result is more common in people that suffer from conditions like anxiety and depression. Make sure you subscribe to the channel because I'm going to bring out a separate video on the different factors that affect pain in general, but we'll go into this in a little bit more detail very soon. And the last one, risk factor 7, is comorbidities. As with many things, low back pain is often very multifactorial, but we do know that if you have other health conditions, then you are more likely to experience back pain. It may be musculoskeletal comorbidities such as rheumatoid arthritis or osteoporosis, or more general health conditions like diabetes, cardiovascular disease or dementia. We're done. So to conclude, age. There are a few things you can do to slow the process down. Genetics, we're not too sure how relevant it is for back pain at the moment, more research needed. And obesity, smoking, mental health problems and comorbidities are all risk factors associated not only with low back pain, but many other health conditions as well. As always, thank you very much for watching, guys. I hope you've enjoyed today's content. If you have, then please give us a thumbs up, it really does help, and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any more of Genuine Physio's videos. There'll be some useful links in the description below, and come and find us on all of the main social media platforms. But before you go, I'd like to hear from you. So tell me, which risk factor do you think relates to you most, or let me know if you think I've missed any. Drop a comment below and let me know. Until next time, I'll see you again very soon.